Last night, the 31st Annual National Equal Justice Awards dinner took place. That is sponsored by the NAACP, Legal Defense and Education Fund. Of course, they're one of our leading civil rights organizations, fighting a variety of civil rights cases. We were there on the red carpet, plus attending the dinner. And here are their salute to honorees such as Howard Schultz of Starbucks and John Legend. So, Sherilyn, a big night. Let's talk about LDF, where you are. Lots of things. Y'all is a little busy, all the craziness in D.C.
Well, it's been a very challenging year. I can't lie. We're working overtime on voter suppression and working on criminal justice reform, working on policing, which we have not forgotten about, even if others have forgotten about it, and working on employment discrimination, all of the issues that really are at the core of civil rights. And in fact, now, when we have a Department of Justice that really has turned away from their core mission of enforcing the nation's civil rights laws, we feel like we have to really lean in and pick up the mantle that they have dropped. And so this year has been very intense for us. But I have to say I'm incredibly encouraged by not only by my staff, which is working incredibly hard, but by how many people across the country really feel themselves in this fight. And the three honorees tonight are examples of that.
But it's also important, Kristen Clark and I talk about this all the time, the Lawyers Committee, is that folks got to understand this work has to be funded.
There's no question. I mean, I always say that the work of LDF, founded by Thurgood Marshall, Brown versus Board of Education, everything that came out of that, we almost breathe it in like air. It's just now kind of part of us, and we don't understand that it really takes hard work and it takes resources to be able to do that work. I have no problem talking about this because I know how hard these brilliant young lawyers work. They could work at any, major law firm in the country. They've gone to the best law schools, but this is the work that they have committed themselves to. And they're not making top dollar, but they are leaned in fully, trying to represent their clients, trying to make sure that the promise of equality is there for everyone. And we need the resources to do it. And so, if people want to see this happen, if people really believe that despite everything that's happening, we need to be making that push towards equality and justice, then they should support us.
And it's also important for people to realize that when we talk about these suits, when we talk about the work that you do, these are folks who, if it was not for the LDF, they would not have anybody who had their back.
Well, one of the things I always say about LDF is that if you imagine the best lawyer that you could hire for your private business deal, right, that's us, as in the civil rights realm. We're bringing our A game, and we're bringing our A game on behalf of people who don't have a voice. And we think it's important. We think it's important that they be able to have a representative in the courtroom, in the legislature, wherever we're representing them, that is the highest quality, that knows what they're talking about. That's our kind of coin of the realm. I mean, I do a lot of media, but you will not see me if I don't know what I'm talking about. It's about knowing the facts. It's about knowing the law. It's about being able to speak truth to power on behalf of people who can't enter that space on an equal basis. And we think that's what's so important about LDF, is to be able to bring that quality to the table. When people see it, they understand we are serious.
All right. We appreciate it. Thanks a lot. All right. Thank you.
Take care.
Well, John, you're honoree tonight.
Man, I'm just happy to be here.
What the work the LDF does obviously is critically important because when you look at these cases, if it wasn't for them, a lot of folks would not have top flight attorneys.
Well, there's so many things that this organization has done over the years, and we know how important the courtroom is to pursuing justice. It's not just about writing laws, it's litigating on behalf of people who've been wronged and pursuing these cases so that we can change the situation for everybody. So that's what Thurgood Marshall did when he was young, before he was a Supreme Court justice. He was out there litigating these cases on behalf of people who may not have had the help and the money or the support and the resources to pay for these cases on their own. And the LDF has been doing that for a long time, and to be honored by them is really humbling for me.
Why is criminal justice reform so personal to you?
Well, it's personal because I've dealt with it in my own family and with my friends and my neighborhood, and knowing the folks that got caught up in the system. Some of them committed crimes, some of them were wrongly accused, some of them were sentenced for far longer than their crimes would suggest that they should have been. But all we know is that this system has been very destructive in our community. It's destroyed a lot of families, and we've spent a lot of resources as a country putting people in prison when we could have spent those resources on edifying our communities and building stronger communities. And we need to refocus. Every time we lock somebody up, we're spending money that we could be spending on educating, on health care, on child care, all the things that would prevent people from getting in trouble in the first place.
What do you say to that person who says, oh man, this is great and wonderful, but they won't send $1? They won't send $5 because the reality is this work has to be funded.
Yes, that's why we're here tonight. We're here to raise money. I'm not here so I can pick up an award. I'm here to help support this organization and raise money, and we've got to do it. And every little bit counts. And these cases change things for everybody. It doesn't just change things for the person that's suing or the person that's litigating. It's about changing the environment for all of us so that we can be more free and more just here.
Last question: State of Underground. What's the state?
It's not over yet. We're still working hard.
All right.
All right.
Seeing you, baby.
Thank you.
Tell the wife, hey.
Yes, sir.
What's up, baby?
What's up, boy?
Good seeing you. Good seeing you.
Good, baby.
The movie Thurgood is out. Reggie Hudlin directed, starring Chadwick Boseman. One of the things that I said is that he was a real-life superhero. What the brothers and sisters are doing even today, following in his footsteps, they are also superheroes who are putting the work in.
Absolutely. A lot of people don't realize we're actually living history right now. Some of these great lawyers and activists, and we'll talk about them 30, 40, 100 years from now because they're putting in a lot of great work. And I just applaud, even from, what Tamika's, doing with the women's movement. It's, she's just such an example of what we need to be as people.
All right. Good seeing you, baby. All right. You got brothers and sisters out there who write, who email, who say I need help. And what this organization does, they stand in the gap for those who desperately need a high-quality lawyer.
That's right. Well, look, that's what Thurgood Marshall stood for, man. Really protecting our rights, protecting our civil rights. And the fact that the LDF today is still standing strong and honoring this great group of people this evening, I wouldn't be more proud of anything else than to be here tonight celebrating that. And, the sign of the times is what we need. We need to gather and come together, and every little bit counts, as you know. So, having Howard Schultz and John Legend and other fine honorees tonight, I had to come pay my respects, because as we keep pushing culture forward and trying to change, trying to create change, trying to give people dignity and give them hope again, that this stuff will be solved and there will be no more unarmed killings and unlawful treatment of people just because of their race or where they are, or neighborhood or religion. That just has to stop. So this puts a little dent in it. This raises money. This puts lawyers helping protect people, and that's all you could ask for.
That's it.
Thank you.
I appreciate it,
and
bro.
that ascot is cool.
Well,
Yeah.
somebody got to do it. Appreciate it, baby. First and foremost, when you think about LDF in terms of what they mean to Black America, what would you say?
What's going on in the country, we need everything we can to make sure that we protect our interests legally so that we can move forward with voting rights, equal opportunity in terms of employment, and this is vitally important that we support legal defense fund in this climate that we're in now of just out-and-out racism.
Got it. Simple as that. I appreciate it, baby. Good seeing you. Good seeing you. So how you doing?
I'm great, Roland.
What you working on?
Well, gosh, a lot of things, but She's Got a Habit's about to come out Thanksgiving Day, so
I know.
excited.
I've been retweeting. I've been sitting here giving likes and the hearts and everything on Instagram.
Good, well, thank you. We're excited for you to see it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I got a bunch of other stuff. I've got a movie, actually, one of the honorees tonight at the Legal Defense Fund, John Legend and I, produced a film, Monster, that we finished this year, so I'm excited for that, too.
All right, then. Talk about, again, how critically important the work of the LDF.
Oh, my gosh. Well, I've been involved with LDF for 25 years, and especially now, but it's so funny, we always say that, especially now. So it's always, LDF is so critical to the work on the ground, making sure our voting rights are where they should be. I mean, we're under constant attack, and LDF is always right there in terms of our education, in terms of criminal justice reform, in terms of environmental justice. I mean, LDF is always there. And, it really does seem that right now, more than ever, they are really important.
All right. Always good seeing you.
You too, Roland.
All right, take care.
All right.
All right, y'all. All right, congrats to all of the honorees.
Weekdays on TV One.
I will never lie to you.
Oh my God.
Roland Martin.
He doesn't want to talk to us. He wants to ignore us.
Uncensored.
Hell no.
That ain't gonna cut it, boo.
Unapologetic.
No, that is fundamentally false. You are wrong.
Unfiltered.
He wants an America where we all look alike. He ain't talking about black people.
Unrelenting.
You better go work out, because you got a fight on your hands.
NewsOne Now with Roland Martin. Weekdays at 7 a.m. on TV One.